YouTube, what's going on? It's Argon here. Today I got a different kind of video for you, something new I want to try on my channel. As a fan of numbers and as a fan of Call of Duty, I thought it'd be really cool to create a new series where we grade Call of Duty, specifically World War II, and what we're going to do is every single month we're going to release a report card on it. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you what criteria I'm going to be basing that scoring on. But just before I jump into that, I just want to say, I know I've been slacking on the shoutouts. I'm sorry about that. If you are interested in a shout out, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Make your comments. They'll appear in a video coming up shortly, I promise. Maybe not the next one, but that's just because I've been recording a bunch at one time. Just kind of makes sense for me lately, but regardless of that, I'm sorry I've been slacking on it. We're going to make sure we get to those shout outs again because I do enjoy doing them. But either way, let's move right into it. So today, what I'll give you guys is the criteria for how I've been grading this, or how I will be grading this, and starting next week, we'll actually release November's report card for Call of Duty World War II based on this criteria. This is just like the pre-video that you guys can always go back to if you want to see what it takes to score these games and what I'll be scoring them on. There are going to be 6 criteria. Each criteria is going to have 3 sub-criteria basically, and I will be grading each of the sub-criteria on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being, the lowest possible score, 5 being the highest, 3 being the middle ground. And what we're going to do is average all the subcategories, and that's going to apply to the overall category. Each category is going to have a weighted scale, so either up to 20 points, 5 points, whatever it will be. So whatever the average is on those subcategories, that's how many points out of the total amount of points for each category that category will score. I know that's a lot of words to hear. It'll make sense, especially once we start actually grading this, guys. But needless to say, the top score is going to be 100 points. And of course, the bottom score will probably be like 0, maybe. I don't know. There's probably a minimum score. I doubt anytime, anywhere, we're going to ever actually see that. But the max score is going to be 100. So jumping right into it, the very first category is going to be gameplay mechanics. This one is worth a total of 20 points. The subcategories to this are going to be movement and connection/lag and audio/visual. Movement's basically going to talk about how do you feel as a player playing through the game. Is it clunky? Can you jump fast? Can you run fast? How does a game feel in terms of gameplay? Does it match what we're used to? Does it make it more of a better game? Sometimes there's games where your mantling's a little bit awkward, your running's a little bit awkward. Think of the differences between wall running between Black Ops 3 versus Infinite Warfare. Like, there's a little bit of smoothness difference in the player movement between the two games. That's the sort of thing we're going to be looking at. The next subcategory, connection/lag. Basically, how stable is the gameplay? Do your hit markers hit when they need to hit? Are you, dropping? Are you connect? I don't want to get too much into the SBMM subject as much, but more so to do with, are the lobbies clean? Do you have good, connection to host, that kind of thing. The final subcategory is going to be audio visual. How does the game look? How does it sound? Is it enjoyable? Do they do a good job making a high quality production, if you will? So again, that's gameplay mechanics worth 20 points. The next category is going to be user interface. This is worth 5 points. Not too many points, but basically it's still important because that's how you navigate through the game. The first subcategory is going to be menus. Just a kind of objective opinion on how the menus are. The next one is going to be ease of use. Is it intuitive on how to get through stuff, find stuff, do stuff within the menus? And finally, stability. Does the game crash often when you're not in the game? Blah, 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 blah. I know there's been a lot of headquarters issues, so expect this one to score a little bit low initially, but you know what? It's okay. They can fix it. Next category is going to be DLC/supply drops. I know this doesn't affect the gameplay as much necessarily, but it is very important and it's extremely critical to how we perceive the game. This is worth 20 points and is broken down as follows. The first subcategory is variety. Is there going to be enough stuff in there other than just, a bunch of calling cards? The next subcategory is going to be ease of attainment. Can you easily grind for things? Is it super easy to get? Is it really hard to get? Is it almost impossible to get to the point where you have to buy COD points? That's where we'll score here. The next subcategory is the fun factor. Are they actually giving you things that you actually enjoy using, like nunchucks, even though I hated them, but people enjoyed them? Is it a lot of weapons, or is it just a bunch of camos and calling cards? That sort of thing. And finally, the last subcategory is impact on balance. All I gotta say is BAL 27 Obsidian Steed. I think that's enough explanation as to what we'll be reviewing in this subcategory. So that's DLC/supply drops worth 20 points. The next category is game balance. It's worth 25 points. The subcategories are as follows: occurrences of imbalances. How often is there something in the game that needs to be fixed? The next subcategory is impact on gameplay. Is it game breaking? Does it make it so everybody's using the same thing? Is this something that makes it so the game's unplayable? And then finally, the last subcategory in this category is going to be the developer reaction. How quickly do they nerf or patch things, or nerf or buff things, or address issues that need to be addressed regarding the gameplay? Again, that's game balance. It's worth 25 points, and it's by far the largest category so far and total. The next category is a community support. This is worth 15 points. And what this basically is the first subcategory is the frequency of bugs. How often there's something in the game that is glitched or needs to be patched. The next subcategory is related to that, and it is the response time. How quickly does the developer actually react to that and patch something as it needs to be patched and fixed? The next subcategory is community engagement. How engaged is the developer with the community, aka how often do you hear from people like Michael Condrey or David Vonderhaar versus the guy that ran Raven Studio, where you really never heard from him, even though he was supposed to be the person that interacted with the community? So that sort of thing. And then the last category is the fun factor. I'm going to objectively kind of rate this based on what I see, what I feel about the game. More importantly, what I see on Twitter, what I see in people's streams, just in general, what I think the community's response is to the game. And that's going to be worth 10 points. And there's no subcategories to that. It's just kind of a thumb in the wind type thing. And it's not a very high score. But anyway, that's what it is. So those are the categories we're going to be reviewing on, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Is there anything that you think I need to add, adjust, change? Scoring needs to be different. Let me know in the comments if you need more of an explanation of how it works. Again, comment below. This is going to be really interactive with you guys. If you want to try making a score or run a score at things, let me know. Again, look for the first report card for November to release next week. That's where we'll score it, and that's where we'll give the World War II game the first report card. Again, we'll do this every month, as we would expect. You know, more frequently than you would see in school, but you know what? This game gets a lot of attention every month, so you know what? That's how we're going to grade it. Again, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're not following me on social media, links are down in the description below. And as always, guys, my name is Argon, and I'll see you next time. Peace.